if I had 50 cents for every time I told someone, that's not an infographic, I wouldn't go far, but I could probably go out to dinner. A fancy dinner. Hi, welcome to Chartbites. My name is Salome and I'm here to have opinions about data visualization and share them with you. Today I'm defending the one, the only, the infographic. Every word surrounding data visualization has been tricky to define, we know this. But somehow infographics got the even bitter end of this as well. If you are somewhat familiar with the recent history of visualization, you'll know that infographics had a hard time around 2015. And I believe it was the continuous mislabeling of infographics that led to the downfall of their reputation. This sounds dramatic, I know, but it is true. People started to question infographics because they turned into superficial and busy marketing content instead of being valued as complex pieces of data design. In fact, if you ask anyone outside the visualization community what an infographic is, you'll see the current general understanding of infographics is closely linked with a series of brightly colored bad charts or no charts at all. But let me tell you, just because something has an arrow, a pictogram, or a flat design style illustration doesn't mean it is an infographic. Even if the thing has a chart, it doesn't automatically make it an infographic. Besides, there is somehow a sense that when a piece of visual content is slightly more decorated, it automatically becomes an infographic, and it does not. This does not mean that the content is bad, it just means it has a different name. I will even go as far as saying that if it appears in Google image search under infographics, it is probably not an infographic or is a terrible one. The same goes for hashtag infographics in social media. Sometimes it is easier to explain what a thing is by stating what it is not. So let's do an exercise out of this. Name or write down a few things that an infographic is not. I'll start. Flat design is not infographics. Can you tell I have this chip on my shoulder? A collection of templates you can download and use on your presentations and videos is not infographics. Large numbers on a page are not infographics. An informational poster is not necessarily an infographic. A slideshow is not an infographic. It's a slideshow, no matter how designed it looks. The same goes for presentations, although both can include infographics. Now that we know what an infographic is not, let us try to understand what it is. After reading everything and everyone and their mother has written to define infographics, I have come to 3 conclusions. First, infographics are more than a single visualization. This means it is often a composition of various elements such as charts, graphs, maps, diagrams, illustrations, tables, icons, photographs, video, and text. Of course, this depends on the medium. 2. Infographics usually tell stories. Even if they are explorative or interactive, there is always a central message, narrative, or piece of news to be communicated. We rarely let the user wander alone. 3. Infographics tend to be more figurative or illustrative and less data-heavy. I find this debatable because what even is data? But figurative imagery can be easier to comprehend by someone not knowledgeable about a subject, especially if it has snippets of text in a language and tone they can understand. When done well, infographics can be extraordinary. They are nuanced, layered, and immersive pieces of visual content that have tremendous communicative potential. They have complementary and additional information to fill blank spots. They tend to have predefined narrative to guide the user, and they portray only the most relevant information, so no one gets confused. Besides, some of them are so beautiful they can only be described as art. Yes, I hang charts and infographics on my walls. Don't judge! If you doubt me, not that I frame my favorite charts, but then infographics are beautiful, I would suggest you take half an hour of your time to explore the works of Jaime Serra, obviously, Fernando Baptista, Adolfo Arranz, Alberto Lucas Lopes, and Frederica Fragapane. Here you can argue that this view of infographics is outdated and too dependent on printed newspapers. And if you think that, you're not wrong. Infographics, as we know them, were born in the art departments in newsrooms in the 60s and the 70s. But although things have changed and some of the traditional traits of infographics don't translate well to digital, the core principles of infographic design are the same. However, there is one additional challenge for infographics today. Social media and our impatient reading habits have loosened the impact of long-form journalism. I'm not saying it has disappeared, but it has become somewhat niche content. This gets worse because infographics are expensive to produce, especially compared to simple charts that fit on Instagram posts. And we all know how media outlets across the world are struggling to have money to fund themselves. I find it quite sad that newspapers and magazines are running out of print worldwide and that, in consequence, the print infographic is slowly dying. But, as the stickers in the Malofia's 27 book state, the end has not yet been printed. Besides, there are extraordinary things ahead for visualization, and I, for one, am very eager to find out what they are. Just try to give the right names to the right things, please. References to everything I mentioned are below. Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section or in the questionnaire in the description. I will be back with more thoughts and hot takes about data visualization. This is Chartbites. See you next time. Oh, no share shorts at all. The same goes for hashtags. Heavy. So heavy. Oh my god. Especially. They have tremendous communicative potential.